Hi, welcome back to the Backyard Woodshop. I'm Tom Ryder. Today we're going to be making a drawer for an existing space. So something we're going to have to measure and size out. This is a cabinet that was given to me. It was a vanity where it had a sink in the middle, and where it should have a third drawer was a false panel because you had the sink and the drain in the way. So I've mounted wheels on this cabinet, I'm just trying to recycle and use this in my shop to save money. All of us should do that if we can. So we're just going to make a drawer today. Okay, so here's my idea for how to mount this. I'm just using materials I have. I'm not going through any extra expense. It's a little scrap piece of maple I have. I'm just going to pocket hole screw it in here, and then I'm just going to have this sitting right in the corner flush. That way my drawer will ride right on this piece of aluminum. And that's pretty much how we're going to do the front attachment of the rails, and then the back we're just going to put a board across and screw in from the top to the bottom. So quite simply, we're just going to pocket hole screw some blocks in. This is just so that this will hold my rails up and where I want them, but I need to bring it in the thickness of the aluminum on this part here. It's because the screw is going to, I don't know if you can see it, but the screw is going to mount in when I drill a new hole. And it's going to mount sideways. So we're just going to have it like that. So all I did was move that block over just a little bit. We're going to be using 1 1/4 inch fine thread pocket hole screws, because this is maple and oak together. And I'm just going to take and just start shooting that in. And now that is how you're going to do that. And I'm just going to repeat this all the way around off camera. Alright, so our drawer opening is 15 1/8 inches. So let's make the width of the drawer at the outside dimension 15 inches. So that'll let it ride in the tracks nice and smooth, and it'll give it clearance here. So our depth, we're just going to make it the same as the other drawers, which should be 19 inches. So we've got 15 inches wide by 19 inches long. These are all outside dimensions. And then we've got 5-inch opening on the height. So we're going to make that 4 7/8. And then this board here is going to be for, as we pull the drawer out, this will keep the drawer from wanting to tip and fall out. But I don't want to set this in yet until I've built the drawer, and we can just set it so that it's a nice smooth pull and push. Alright, so now we've got all our boards ripped to the 4 7/8 wide, so we're finished with that. So now I need 2 of them at 19 inches, and if you just happen to have a miter gauge with a fence on it, this one's an Incra, works great. I just set my scale to 19 inches, drop my little stop, and everything I cut will be 19 inches. So that's a nice little tip if you want a reliable tool. These Incra miter gauges are great. This is a 1000 heavy duty. There you have it. Alright, quick tip here. So we want to know what the inside dimension is going to be for our front and back cross pieces. I could do the math. They're actually 5/8 of an inch thick on these shelving pieces, but I don't even need to know that. I can show you a quick way. If you got a fence and your table saw, you just take your 2 pieces, put them together, push the piece you want up against those, take and put your ruler up against your fence, mark your 15 inches there, and now I have my width. And you want me to tell you what it is? In case you're curious, it's 13 3/4 of an inch. Alright, so if we did our trick correctly, it will be 15 inches, and is exactly 15 inches. Alright, so our next step, we need to cut some grooves in the sides and the fronts for our panel to lock into so that it'll stay put. So how that's going to work is just like this, and it's simple to do on the table saw. We're just going to take rip it, set this about a 1/2 inch deep, take 1/8 inch cut, slide it over a little bit, and take another, and that should be about the 3/16 inch thick of this piece of paneling. One of the cool things about my Vega fence is it has a micro adjustment. Now if you have an Incra or a Vega, you have this, so you don't have to sit there and tap. I can literally just unlock the big lever, have the little one locked, and I can just move this fence in or out to adjust for my saw curve. And it's completely repeatable, which is really nice. Or if you have an Incra fence, you can do the same thing. So I just want to point that out, that these Vega fences are just awesome. What you've got now is I've got my drawer just clamped together, and imagine that, it's exactly 15 inches wide. So if we check our length, we're exactly 19 inches long, which is what I wanted. But we need to know what the panel width and length is. So the width, quite simply, is easiest to measure since I've cut the back groove off and it's just flat. All I have to do is put it in one groove, measure it in the other, and it's 14 5/16 wide. So let's make that 14 1/4 inch. Give it just a little bit of play so I can slide it in there. Now the length I really don't need to measure, because I'll just make my first cut 14 1/4, push that all the way up, and then just use the drawer itself to make my mark, and then I'll know what the length is. Well, there is, right now I've just got everything clamped, and I'm just seeing if everything's even. If something's not even, when it's in the clamps like this, you can just tap it. There we go. Got it nice and even here. Fronts are pretty even. Let me give it a little tap there. Yeah. So once you get your drawer even, there's a lip back here, if you can see it right here. So I'm just going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to make sure that that's all the way in the groove like it is. Now I'm just going to take my pencil, I'm just going to mark right up the back. Well, once you've got your panel sitting in there, that'll let you get everything square and feeling flush. So what I like to do before I make my final cut on the panel is I like to put it all together first. So, and you could actually leave it put together and just saw it off on the table saw drawer and all. So what I'm going to use is just some screws. These are drywall screws, 1 1/4 inch. And I got a pilot bit with a countersink. So we're just going to drill it in there a little bit. And then what I like to do, because this is particle board, is I like to drill a pilot hole just to be sure that this follows where I'm going. And you know, you just put it in a certain depth. And then what I'll do is take my screw and that's pretty much it. So you just do that to all the corners. All your building is a box with a bottom. That's really what a drawer is. They're pretty simple. I just use butt joints. You could do anything you want. You can use pocket hole screws. You can do box joints, you know, just square tabs that interlock with each other. You can do dovetails, you know, depending on the project you're doing. This is just to show you how easy it is just to make a box, put a bottom in it. So I left the panel loose so you can see. So what I did is I just cut the back off at the bottom, and then see, well, you can screw this in along the bottom here and everything will be fine. So that's my mark right here for cutting this off. So, alright, so you got your drawer put together. We've made our cut on our panel. Well, our bottom, I should say. So we're just going to fit this in just like this. Now it's got a little bow to it, and that's what that groove's going to do, is help straighten up that bow. There it went. Fit right in there. It's nice and even. And now all we have to do is shoot a couple screws in, and this thing will be finished. So I'm just going to drill a couple pilot holes. Tell you what, let's use a countersink. So we're just going to put like 3 in here. You can just randomly pick where you want them. And that's all it is. So once you've put your screws in the bottom, your drawer, technically your drawer part will be assembled. And there you go. One drawer. Okay, the moment of truth, guys. Did I make this fit? Let's find out. You and me are going to discover it together. Make sure I got the back facing towards the back. Oh, it's looking good so far. Well, would you look at that? Fits right in there. There's that little bit of play I was talking about that I left. There we go. Now it's all square. There. Fits in there like a glove. Alright. Okay, so because this is basically already assembled, it's pretty easy to put this face on. Because remember, we're just making a drawer where there wasn't one. So this panel here lines up vertically on each side with the door. And then it lines up across the top of these other 2 drawers. So all I had to do was just line it up here, and then eyeball it down the 2 fronts. And now this will look good against the outside. And now all I have to do is drive a screw on the left and on the right, because you don't want to put it right in the middle, because you know you're going to be putting a handle on, obviously. Okay, so the nice thing is we've already got our front clamped in place, and we're just going to be drilling a screw in the back here. I'm using 1 1/4 drywall screws again. And I'm just going to countersink them so that we don't snag ourselves. And I'm just going to guess about the middle. So what I like to do is, before I drill both holes, is I go ahead and I put a screw in on the one side. Make sure that's snug. Then we're going to do the one on the other side. And then this bad boy will be attached to the face. Whoops. And now we can release our clamps. And our drawer should come out. Look at that. Like it's made for it. That's awesome. Okay, so now we've got our I guess you could call this our tip board. It actually adds some more rigidity to the cabinet as well. But you can pull this thing out almost to the end. I'd probably say about, I wouldn't go any more than a 1/2 inch from the opening. So I can still reach all the way into the back. So you can get pretty far with that. And you just slide it back in. To mount a handle onto the drawer front is quite simple. You just need to know what kind of handle you want to put on. I'm just using a scrap handle that I had, so this one I actually don't even have to put bolts through. I'm just going to do 4 screws on it. But you still need to kind of make it look nice. So this is 17.5 inches wide. So that'll put us at 8 3/4 of an inch to the center here. And it's basically 6 inches here, so we'll make it 3 inches there. So I got a center mark already. I just measured it. I just wanted to show you. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center of the drawer, and that's pretty much how you would do it. Well, got my handle mounted. Remember, this is shop furniture. That's why the black screws don't match the brass. Just slide that in like that. And there we go. Hope you've learned how to do simple drawer construction. Remember, you can make the joinery any way you want. Basically, you're just building a box with a bottom. So once you've got the fundamentals down, you can keep going from there and get as fancy as you want. So also, try and recycle any of that furniture you see out on the trash. One big note, remember this door wouldn't stay closed? Well, some of that furniture I recycled, it had a spring latch on it, so I grabbed it and look at that, now it stays closed. So This is going to make a great little computer stand for me. It was somebody's bathroom vanity at one time, I'm sure. So I got the countertop from the trash as well. This was donated to me before they sent it to the garbage. So basically that's going to wrap this up. So if you want to email me, you can do that at backyardwoodshop@gmail.com, or you can just leave a comment. That'd be great. You can also like the video. I would love to have you as a subscriber. That'd be fantastic. So I really thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a great day.